Welcome to the Mega Print on Demand Summit. I'm Melissa Reynolds. This is day 2 of our summit, and we will be discussing targeting the right audience. So are you ready to learn more about print on demand? I sure am. So let's get started.
Hey everybody, my name is Kaman Cheung. Thank you for tuning in to my presentation of the how to find keywords for your niche. I know you guys could be in a lot of places, probably a lot limited with COVID, but you could probably be watching a lot of the new streaming things or trying to stop from being stir crazy, but you guys tuned in. So I really want to thank you. I'm really happy to be part of the first Mega POD Summit. Thank you, Melissa and Stephen, for hosting it, and thank you for inviting me to speak. So let's get started with the presentation. Hope you enjoy it. So I started selling on Amazon in 2015. My background is actually in computer science, and I love data. And I've always been drawn to keyword research. I love spreadsheets. I love pivot tables and Excel. I'm one of those geeky guys. So that's what got me drawn into keyword research. And honestly, it was a kind of a crush because I kind of got stuck in keyword research. But as a result, I did learn a lot. So I want to share what I learned with you guys. Hopefully it'll help you down your path of keyword research. So as a person who's been in a lot of webinars and a lot of these live kind of sessions, I know the first question is, will the slides be available? Yes, they will be available. You can download them, so you don't have to be fervently taking notes or trying to take screenshots. So just try to the first run, just try to focus on the information, and hopefully it'll kind of keep you focused. Next thing is, one of the key things I've learned about learning anything new is learning the vocabulary. And one thing that I really noticed, and I was doing a lot of keyword research, reading articles, listening to courses, talking to other people who are doing Amazon, is how many different ways you can call keywords. Call them keywords, call them search terms, call them search queries, search phrases. I'm sure there are a lot of other search things out there that people call them. And I mean, I really wish I was able to get a room and everyone who talks about keywords and just pick one word so it wasn't as confusing. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. We like to name terms the way we want to name terms. So just to know from now into the future, if you ever do study keywords, these terms all mean the same thing. So hopefully it'll help simplify what it is you're reading and what it is you're learning when you do keyword research or learn more about keyword research. So what are keywords? So keywords are pretty much anything you put into a search box. For example, any words you put into the Google search box are keywords. The way they use keywords for Google to rank, they call it search engine optimization. For us, we would be talking more about keyword optimization for your listing. So anything that gets typed into Amazon, or anything that gets typed into Etsy, or anything that gets typed into Walmart, or whatever marketplace you guys are looking to, eBay, your Shopify site even, how you want to rank for that. So anything gets typed in a search box, you can keyword. So now that we kind of got that out of the way, let's talk about why they are important. I'm a course junkie, word junkie. I try to learn as many courses, I almost get bogged down in it. I have shiny object syndrome like a lot of entrepreneurs that I know. And every single course that I've been a part of that talks about selling products talks about keywords. But why are they important? And the main reason they're important is because they are where your customers come from. They are the key to having sales. So to kind of illustrate that, I want to introduce you to two people. They're tourists. Their names are COVID and Corona. So they are after this whole quarantine, they're eager, they have cabin fever, they want to go out and they want to go to a casino. So they want to go to a casino, the Bellagio. This is the one in Vegas. And they're really excited to go. Now they've got to plan their trip. So they signed up for a tour guide and they got to decide on which tour bus to go on. So obviously there's a lot of tour buses that get dropped off at the casino. Each tour bus kind of has different amount of people as well as how much the cost. So they could choose a tour bus with 35 people that are nice. They could choose a smaller tour bus that only has 22 people but less amenities, or they can choose like a full ride tour bus of 30 people. So now how does this all tie into keywords? So if you want to think about it, the casino is your product page. That's where your tourists, or in this case, our tourists are considered our customers. That's what they are doing. They're landing on your, they're getting to your product page by tour buses or keywords. So each keyword has keyword volume, and the same thing as each tour bus has a certain amount of tourists, and all these tourists are going to end up in your product page or casino, and each shuttle is carrying visitors or customers. So obviously the reason you want a lot of good ranking keywords, or you want to optimize for more keywords, is that means more tour buses with different numbers of tourists are getting to your casino or your product page. So hopefully that kind of clarifies stuff. So the next thing that a lot of people run into when they understand keywords and why it's important and looking at volume is that they're like, oh, let's go attack, or let's go look for keywords that have the most search volume, that have the most, in this case, the most tourists in the tour bus. Because, I mean, who doesn't want more, right? So, like, if they had to choose between keyword A that had 10,000 volume, or they had to choose keyword B that only had 100 volume, they'd be like, of course, I'll choose keyword A because there's so much more. I mean, I want more people coming to my site. So, one thing that is actually something that I think you guys really have to understand is that more isn't always better sometimes. And same thing with keywords. More isn't always better. And to understand that, you really have to understand something called click-through rate. So click-through rate is a metric where it kind of tells you like, hey, out of something that happens, how many people actually click through to do something. So an example of click-through rate is like when people search for a word and on Amazon and the search results of all the products are shown, how many people clicked on a listing and clicked through to your listing. Or for example, if someone lands on your product page, how many people, when they got on your product page, actually click through to purchase it. So going back to our story, let's imagine COVID and Corona. They end up at the casino and they're excited and they go to the casino, and obviously the casino wants them to gamble. They want them to go to the roulette table. They want them to go to the slot machine. They want them to go play poker, go to the sports book. Obviously, the more they gamble, the more it is advantage to the casino. They would make more money. Or they want our great tourists to book a room for a few nights. We catch a show, eat at the buffet, shop at the stores, so that's another way of making money. But imagine if COVID and Corona just went to the casino, they didn't do any of that. They just went to the casino and then they just walked in, looked around, and left. Imagine if all the tourists did that at the casino. You know what? We would go out of business. Out of business at the point. I mean, it's great, people walk in and walk out, but without them purchasing, they'd go out of business. Now let's take this back to the marketplace. Imagine this is your product page. Now the marketplace, in this case Etsy, decides to show your product after somebody searches for funny quarantine shirt in this case. And they show your products, but all these people that are coming to your product listing, all these customers, through this keyword, they just look at it and they don't want to buy it. They decide to leave. They don't want to click through, in this case for click-through rate, and add it to the cart. If that continues to happen, the click-through rate for this product would be really low, in which case there'd be no sales for you. You wouldn't make any money, and the marketplace wouldn't have making any money because you're not making sales. So they have no way of making money off your commission. So for products that have a low click-through rate where people are landing on your listing and no one is buying, this marketplace will quickly change the product to another product that isn't yours, that are similar, but that might have a higher click-through rate to purchase. So the key thing with keyword research is not necessarily volume or how much, but it's actually relevance. you really want relevancy to be the top priority for your keyword research. From then, after relevancy being your top priority, then you can look at search volume. Because if you don't have really relevant keywords that people are actually looking, that land on your page, actually looking for your product and actually want to buy your product, you're going to have a low click-through rate. Eventually, even if you rank for a certain keyword, your product will be replaced by another product that will have a high click-through rate and a high relevancy to what the person is searching for. So the next thing is, like, now that we understand the fundamentals, now we understand relevancy over volume. How do you find keywords? So one thing you really have to study before you actually do a lot of keyword research is actually product listing optimization, and not even product listing optimization, but learning how to create a listing on whatever marketplace it may be, whether it's Amazon, Etsy, eBay. Because when you start learning how to create a listing, every listing course will tell you, hey, these keywords you want to rank for in this position, whether it's in the title. You want your second best keywords in the second position, whether it's the bullet or description. You want your third best keywords in some other place, right? So the reason why this is important, and you really want to study where they tell you should put your most important keywords, is because everybody in the marketplace is playing by the same rules. The same rules that apply to you apply to other people. So if they say, hey, you know what, your most important keyword should be in the title, then remember that. Your second most important keywords need to be in the bullet points. Remember that. So now that you remember that, and you know which keywords are the most important to put in what area, study that. And in this case, so I've launched products on Amazon and Etsy, and they tell you the most important keywords should be put in the title. Not only in the title, but the front of the title has more weight than the back of the title. So for example, when it says, you see on Etsy, it says peace, love, sanitize. That's in the front of the title. That is what this product wants to rank for. That is what they feel is the most important keyword and the most important keyword in the market. So now, knowing that, you want to start doing your competitor analysis. How do you do that? So what you want to do is you want to just go into a marketplace and type in a word that your competitors, your direct competitors, will be a part of. In this case, I put in peace, love, sanitize, shirt in Etsy. And you want to highlight all the titles. See, here are all the titles, and you want to store those titles in an Excel sheet and try to start analyzing all those titles and looking at all those titles. And I will walk you through my process. And so don't worry about this, but just start understanding that. Same thing if it was Amazon. Amazon, same thing, They tell you that the title is where you want to put your most important keywords. So you would store all those keywords in that title, and then you would look at your competitors who are also, remember, the same rules apply to them. They're going to be putting their most important keywords that they think are the ones that make the most money for them in the front of their title. So where else besides titles you want to look for? So you want to look for titles, you want to look at bullet points, you want to look at descriptions. Another place to look for keywords that aren't necessarily part of creating your listing is the reviews. You want to read all the reviews. It doesn't matter if they're positive or negative at this point. Just you want to read them, and you want to look for key phrases or keywords that all the customers are using across the different products. Like you want to start getting into their heads. So keyword research really is really understanding your customer and really trying to learn their language or their phrases they use to really relate to them. So there are tools out there. Amazon, there's this website that actually does a review of all the keyword tools out there and does a pretty thorough review. It gives you pricing. There's this link. Printful is actually a print-on-demand supplier that did a review of all the Etsy keyword research tools out there. If you're doing other platforms and other marketplaces, all you have to do is just type in your marketplace, like eBay or something. Just put your marketplace and keyword tools, and then it will show. Then look through the Google results, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of lists of people out there that have done reviews on tools. Now, one tip on tools, and this is what I'm guilty of, so that's why I want to share it with you, is that when I started doing this, like I said, I really love the data. I signed up for every single out there. I signed up for 5, 6, 7, 8 tools, and all these tools are subscription based, and I ended up spending $400 a month on tools, which is totally not necessary. Do not do that. It's a very, very expensive, and it's really the money. So if you want to go into tools, what I suggest is actually just sign up for them, but sign up for the free trial and just test them out. Like see what they're like, see what they're returning, see how you like using them, see what the results are, see if they make sense, um, and then select just one, maybe two. But you really don't need 5 or 6. I mean, tools are great, but in the end, all the numbers that they give you, they don't really. They're just estimations. The only people who really know the search volume or how many clicks happen on a keyword is the marketplaces, Amazon, Etsy, and no one has access to that besides them. So use the keywords as an indicator, but I mean, unfortunately, I know this isn't what you want to hear, but you got to test. You got to test out the keywords. You got to put them on your listing, see how they're doing, switch the keywords around, see how it affects your listing. I mean, I wish there was a magical tool out there that said, hey, these are the exact keywords you use. This is ones that are gonna make money, but there is no magic bullet. So one thing that I really thought about when I was doing the presentation is what stuck out to me is this quote by Nelson Mandela. He says, "If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart." And that is the core of keywords. You don't want to just study keywords just to say what it is. You want to get into the heads of your customers. You want to connect with them, let them know that is, what they're coming from, where you're understanding. These keywords will build trust with your customers, and then they will buy. That'll trigger what will make the most sales with them. So really try to use keywords to understand your customer and really speak their language. So like I mentioned, I'm going to go through a working example of my over the shoulder of a keyword that I want to do. I know it's kind of out of left field, but I like studying keywords where I'm kind of interested in it. And one of my things that I'm interested in is dogs. I'm a dog person. And if you guys don't know, I love huskies, but they're just so big. And my wife doesn't want a big dog. They shed all over the place. My wife is OCD. So I actually found a dog called an Alaskan Clyde, and they are miniature huskies. And I know, like I said, it's kind of out of left field, but I wanted to do something that I wanted you guys to see what I'm doing and see what over the shoulder is with me and how I would do keyword research. So we're gonna be doing keyword research on the Alaskan Clyde shirt, and we're gonna try to look for keywords that we should target for this really, really specific niche. And besides, look how cute it is. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do research? So let's get started. So here I go, and I'm going to be doing keyword research for, like I said, Clyde shirt. I'm going to do a few different marketplaces: Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Walmart, Pinterest. And I'm going to go, I didn't mention this, but I'm going to go over Facebook a little bit of how I would do that. So what I would do here is that I would type in Clyde shirt, or whatever, in your case, whatever niche you are and whatever product. It could be Clyde mug or Clyde stickers or whatever it is. And I'm looking, first of all, for the first 10 products that are organic, that are competitors that I want to rank for. So here I would actually then click into each one, and I would just copy the titles into an Excel sheet. So take, just for the sake of time, I'm not going to do 10, but I'm going to do 3. And here, so this is the first one. So what I would do is I would copy, get an Excel sheet, and just put in the first one. And then this is the second product here. And like I said, I would copy. And then same thing here. Now, like I said, if I was doing a thorough keyword research, I would actually be going through the first 10 organic rankings. I'm also only doing the title. once I would be done with the title, I'd go through this process with the bullet points or the product description or other places where people are doing keywords. So let's continue with Etsy. So same thing, what I did, I went to Etsy, typed in Klee shirt, and I see all these shirts. I'm going to focus on the shirts, like there's this pillowcase I would ignore. I want to make sure that there are no ads, and I would just click on those shirts and open it up and just copy the title. So here's the title here. Same thing. And then I would go into eBay, and I would see, first of all, if you type in Klee shirt or whatever niche shirt and no shirts are showing up, then I wouldn't worry about it. I would skip this marketplace. But if you're seeing like I am, I'm seeing shirts, and I would actually use it as well. So here, see, I just copy, paste it here. And then I did the same thing on the Walmart marketplace. Look for shirts. And it looks like it's only these 4 shirts. So instead of the top 10, I do the top 4. But like I said, for time's sake, I'm just going to do the top 3. And this is optional. This is something I've been experimenting with, but it is a good source of keywords is Pinterest. So usually I look at Pinterest more so for design inspiration. I want to see what has a lot of engagement or what designs look cool that I could kind of use inspiration from. But they also have keyword data in there. So I would click on the shirts, and I found a few shirts here that would be my direct competitor, and I would just, like, same thing, copy the title. I wouldn't copy Zazzle.com because that's just a brand name. Just put it in my list. So as you can see, I have all the titles. Like I said, if I was doing this, the whole process, I wouldn't take 3. I would take 10. So in our case, instead of having 15, I would actually have 10 from Amazon, 10 from eBay, 10 from Etsy. So I would actually have like 50 or more that are competitor products that are not ads. And I would actually, the next thing I would do is I would go to this site, which will make things a lot easier. It's called wordcounter.net. And instead of trying to count every single word to see which phrases show up the most, this will actually do that for you. So from here, I would copy all the titles, go back to that site, and just paste it in here. It'll tell you how many words, how many characters, but what you want to look specifically in here is keyword density. So you could actually, if you go to settings, instead of showing the top 10 keywords, I'll probably go 50. And then from here, these are the top single keywords that are showing up from all the titles. These are the top 2 phrase keywords that are in the title, and these are the top 3 phrase keywords. So I would definitely include Alaskan Keycly, Alaskan Keycly shirt, mom maybe black white Alaskan, Alaskan Keycly mini, Keycly mini husky, and you have to use your judgment. You know, if your shirt is not for moms, there's no reason to put mom in there, even though there's a lot of mom shirts. Or if it's not for a toddler, then you wouldn't put a toddler there. If it's not a tank top, you wouldn't put a tank. Or, I mean, blue eyes shirt, Clee blue eyes. You can go to the second one, gray Alaskan, black white, Clee Clyde t-shirt. And I would just start collecting all these keywords. So I wanted to show you guys what a full filled out worksheet looks like. So as you can see, for this set, I put the keyword is a Jesus Saves t-shirt. And for each marketplace, I took the 10 organic results. So here's Amazon. And for the 10 organic results, I have the title. Also included the description. Etsy keywords is for the Etsy marketplace. If you scroll down, you see Etsy. Also the first positions. And the titles right here. A lot of the descriptions for Etsy are not keyword relevant. If you look into an Etsy listing, you'll see a lot of words like 100% cotton or multiple sizes, more talking about the shirt. So usually I would look through the description and I would kind of look for paragraphs where they're talking about the niche. If they're not, then I would just ignore the description. And then at the bottom of each Etsy listing, there are words. So there are keywords down here. For example, if I pull up an Etsy listing right now, so this is Etsy. I typed in Jesus Saves shirts, and these are ads, as you can see. So you want to go to the first organic one. And this is the title. And as you can see, if you look at the descriptions here, it's all about sizing and what they recommend, inches, attention, and all that other stuff. So unless there's something specific about the niche, I would ignore that. And then if you scroll all the way down here, there's these explore more options. These are the Etsy keywords that I'm talking about in this Excel sheet down here. So eBay is the same thing. So eBay, there's the positions of the first organic results, the title, this is the description if they have something in the description that is relevant, and these are the keywords. eBay's keywords are a bit hidden, so if you want to look at eBay, let's type in Jesus Saves shirt. And we can click on this one since it's not an ad. So this is the title. Just scroll down and see a lot of the description is not relevant to the niche, but this part is the Jesus Saves t-shirt, religion, prayer, Christian. So that's what I copied into the description column. And if you scroll all the way down, it's really hidden. Down here, they have keywords. These are the keywords that I put in here under the Etsy keyword suggestions column. And then we have Walmart. Walmart doesn't really have descriptions, so it's just title. And Pinterest is the same thing. They don't have descriptions. It's mostly titles. So this is a filled out data sheet of all the titles. Now what I would do next is what I talked about before, is with all the titles, I would copy all the titles from all the marketplaces, and I would plug them here into the keyword counter list. And now you see, make sure I usually put 30. Done. So I click on the settings and I click 30, and now you can see all the different phrases that happen most often. So it's kind of hard, it's kind of difficult to cut and paste, it's kind of tricky, but instead of typing everything, you can just kind of click your mouse, hold down your mouse, and then try to highlight everything up to here, and then just copy. And then I would just go back to the Excel sheet, and then I would just paste everything in there. As you can see, everything is in there. Keyword density. Then I would do the same thing for the 2-word phrases. So going back to the word counter, I would just click. If you click on 2, everything stays highlighted, so you don't have to highlight everything, and then you just copy, Control V, and then you go back to the Excel sheet, and then there, and then go back, and then just click on this X3 there, and then go back. And now you have your keywords. Now, this isn't all you have to do. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff in there that might not make sense to you. For example, hockey. So the reason there's hockey is because a lot of the shirts were Jesus Saves with a hockey person. So you have to use your common sense. If you're not making a Jesus Saves shirt that's related to hockey, then you would take that out. Same thing if you're not doing a men's shirt. Or a kid's shirt right here. Same thing. Awkward Styles was a brand, so they tried to brand. So if that's not, so use your common sense, and these are the keywords I would go with. From here out, after I've picked out all the keywords, I would put them into some tool that will give me the search volume to kind of help me prioritize. And from there, that's when I would start testing the keywords. So one bonus I wanted to talk about that I've started to learn as well is looking at Facebook groups. So what I would do is I would type in your niche into your Facebook account and click on groups. Now, once you click on groups, you're going to see all these key client groups. First of all, if there is no Facebook group with your niche, it actually is a bad sign. It might mean that there's not enough interest, and you might want to move on to the next niche or do some more research. But here, as you can see, there's a lot of key client groups. And what I'm looking for is engagement. So I'm looking for groups like these that did 50 posts a day. That means people are voluntarily going to Facebook and going to this group and actually putting posts in there. 20 posts a day is great. 8 posts a day. Here's 10 posts a day. Here, as you can see, there's no way I wouldn't try to join that group. 6 posts a week. So you might even want to actually click into the group, and you can see how many members there are. That's a great sign that there's a lot of members in there. And then you would just join the group. And then what you would do after that is that you have to fill out a presentation, and then once you join the group, you just spend some time in the group. Look at the comments. Look at which posts are getting the most. Look at what words are being used. Read the comments. Same thing as you would be reading product listings, and try to see like, hey, what words or phrases that are unique to this niche, and add them to your product listing. Now, from there, you wouldn't get a lot of search volume data, so you probably have to plug those words into a tool just to see. But in the end, I mean, I know this sounds kind of, but I'm not really trusting of tools because they don't know. I mean, the only people who really know how much search volume something gets is the actual marketplaces. So I encourage you, if it makes sense, if you see it a lot, if you see it in a lot of different places, try it out. Maybe not put it at the most important places, but to put it on the bullet points, the description, your second most important places for keywords, or your description. So test it out. I think in the end, keyword data is all about testing and always trying new things, trying new keywords, and never giving up. It's never a set it and forget it sort of thing. So now that we've gone through the keyword research process, I want to talk about a few things, a few other things. First of all, there are a lot of uses for the data you've just gathered. You put in a lot of work, put in a lot of copying and pasting, and just know that it's not just to create your listings. You can actually use it for paid advertising. you could start bidding on these keywords, seeing if you can get traction through the bidding, seeing if you could compete with other competitors through paid advertising. You can also do product expansion. So for each keyword, you can actually go in, type it up, and see what the search results are showing. Maybe there are not just shirts. Maybe there are mugs. Maybe there are gloves. Maybe there are masks or toys or whatever it may be. I mean, these words are what your customers are searching for. So these products are what's shown in front of them. So use that to your advantage. Don't just isolate yourself to one product, but actually look for ways to grow. Last is copywriting. A lot of copywriting is keyword research and understanding your customer and understanding where they're coming from, what their thoughts, what the ideas, what the words they're saying in their heads and to others are. And you can use these words to write great copy, whether you're like adding to your description, creating a separate website, writing copy for other things, so copywriting is another way you can use these words. So next, I kind of want to go through some frequently asked questions that I get asked. First of all is, how many keywords do you need? It really depends. It really depends on your platform. Some keywords, some platforms only allow you to use 5 or 6 keywords. Some, like Amazon, you could probably use 30 or 40 because they have a lot of places you could put it. You could put it in the title, put it in the bullet points, the description. They have back-end keywords. So it really depends on your platform, and you really have to find out where you can put the keywords and how much space you have. Know though that don't keyword stuff, and keyword stuffing means instead of creating titles that are readable, you just put all the keywords back to back to back, and that is not a pleasant customer experience, and you will be penalized for doing that on any marketplace, because any marketplace you are going to sell your products, you want a really good customer experience, and they want a really good customer experience. So next is, which tools do I use? And as I said, I've used a bunch. I've used Helium 10. I've used Keyword.io. I've used Ubersuggest. I've used Keyword Planner. I've used Word Tracker, Merchant Words, Viral Launch. There's just an endless amount of tools, and I use Google Planner. That's one that I lean on because it's free, and I currently use Helium 10 because I like its features like reverse ASIN, and there's a lot of other features that are included with it. But honestly, it doesn't really matter what tool you use. Just pick one that you like. Pick one that's comfortable and that makes sense and is reputable. Ask around. I don't know anyone. There is no silver bullet tool, and that's one thing I learned, is that the tool isn't what matters. Everyone has been successful using a bunch of different tools, but it's how you use the keywords and your process with them. Next is, how do you decide between 2 keywords that are very similar and you're limited in space? So what I like to do is I actually like to look at the search results. So say it was, what we were saying was Keycly shirt, gray dog, right? And I would look at the search results, and I would see, hey, can I compete in that the search results? For example, I would look to see, like, hey, are these designs really good, or will the design that I put up be so much better in terms of price? Like, is everyone pricing it at a really high price point and I could come in a little lower? Or is everyone pricing it at a really low price point and I wouldn't be able to make any money regardless? So that's kind of how I would decide. So what you would do, I suggest, is look at the search results of the marketplace you're trying to serve and see where your product will compete with the search results that are being shown. And if you think you could have an advantage, then use that keyword versus the other one. Next one is, can I just use a tool to do all this? A lot of it is manual labor. And yeah, you totally can, but this I feel is tool independent, and you are actually using the data that the marketplace is providing you. And the marketplace is actually the only source of data that has the real results. Like I said, a lot of the tools out there, they're just hypothesizing. They're just guessing. Even the search volumes are just guesses. This one, I'm actually going to the marketplace that I know people are using to rank for, and I am actually getting the data from the source versus some third party source where I'm not even really sure where or how they're getting the data. Next one is some of the keywords don't make sense. Am I doing right? And yeah, some of the keywords won't make sense. That's why I asked you to use your common sense. You got to look, you got to do some digging. It's not just a copy and paste. You got to look. And for example, when we did our previous example, it was like, why is hockey in there? Well, you wouldn't have known it if you didn't go through the process, but it's because there was a shirt that says Jesus saves with him saving a hockey puck, So if that doesn't make sense, then move on to the next word that isn't for you, like every single tool that I've played with. Not all the words will ever make sense. And I always thought it was a bug with the tool. So I would try another tool and I would try another tool and try another tool. But that is just not all the keywords being relevant just comes with the territory, So that's what data analysis is that it won't come 100%. You're going to have to what they call clean the data. So you're going to have to go through the list, make sure it makes sense. Just know that it's normal. Don't freak out that, oh my gosh, like some of these words are not right. Some of these words aren't even related. That's part of your process of using your common sense. Next thing is just, why can't I just brainstorm and just think of these keywords? Why do I got to go through this whole process of copying and pasting, looking at multiple marketplaces and throwing in a keyword counter and seeing how many are counting? So let me tell you a story to really hammer this home. It's called the soda saga. So if you don't know, soda is actually called a lot of different things, different areas. And to make a point to really understand this, in 2008, a man named Alan McConkey did a study. And he sent out questionnaires, and they had the participants just fill out 2 questions. Is, where are you from? And what term do you use for soft drinks? And he sent this questionnaire out to over 400,000 people in the United States. And the results were really eye-opening. If you look, what you call soda is actually based on where you are from. So, for example, on the West Coast and the East Coast, we call it soda. And near the Midwest, middle region, they would call it pop. And in the southern region, they would call it Coke. Even though it's not a Coke brand, they would call it Coke. And if you were just coming up with ideas or keywords by just brainstorming, and you were just living in, say, California like myself, I wouldn't have thought of pop and Coke as a word people would use to search for soda or search for the product I'm looking for. And if I really ignore those words, I'd be missing a huge chunk of the audience that would be searching, and my product would never show up. So that is why we actually do this diligent research process. Now to sum everything up. So 1, remember, keywords are just anything you type into a search bar. It doesn't matter where it is, it's just that's what it is. It could be 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, has numbers, has uppercase and lowercase, whatever that thing is you type in, that is a keyword. For the importance of keywords and just understanding what they are, remember our tourists, COVID and Corona, and them using a tour bus, which is the keywords, to get to the casino, which is your product page. And that is how your customers get to your product page, through this tour bus or keywords. And let's say, remember that more isn't necessarily better. Having the most volume keyword isn't necessarily better because of click-through rate. Click-through rate, once again, is a very important metric for any marketplace that you will be posting your products on. And relevance always trumps volume. You always want more relevant keywords because it will boost your click-through rate, which will help your product sell and get you to rank better on all the different marketplaces you want to sell. Study product listings and how you create them and where the most important keywords should be placed, whether it's in the title or the bullets or the descriptions or the backend keywords, because the same rules apply to you that apply to everybody else. And to gather your keywords using this simple principle, you start doing your competitive analysis. Once again, I really want to thank you for taking this time to listen to my presentation, be part of this summit. I know you guys can be so many other places, doing so many other different things, and I just want to thank you and just to let you know that these are tough times. And as an entrepreneur who's been an entrepreneur for 5 years now, there are gonna be good days and there are gonna be bad days. There's gonna be ups and there's gonna be downs, and even during this time, like I said, it seems like it's uncertain and we don't know what's happening next. But just like that, everything else will pass. And I mean, I'm a Christian and I find inspiration in the Bible, and I just want to share some of that with you guys, just what's helped me get through some of these times. And it's from the Bible. It's Deuteronomy 31:8. It says, "The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid and do not be discouraged." And don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged. You're going to have to take risks. You're going to have to take chances in this business, whether you're starting a new one or in the middle of one, or starting the next one, or learning about a different business model. There are going to be ups and downs, and I wish, like I said, there was a silver bullet. There was this master guru who can save you from all this hassle and all this time and all the heartache, but there isn't. This is part of the process, and to trust the process, and really, guys, push through. Don't be afraid and never get discouraged. Know that everything happens for a reason. And just know that if you guys put in the time and the effort, things will always be worth it. Once again, my name is Kaman Cheung. Thank you for spending this time. Blessings, and have a great rest of your day.
Wow, that was some great information. I hope you took lots of notes. The recording of the session will be up until midnight, but if you want to see the recordings after that, you can get our All Access Pass, which includes the recordings from all of the sessions by clicking the link below. Don't forget to share this link with anybody that's interested in starting their own print-on-demand business.